Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga,
Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitya Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gora Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Ananta Koti
Ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna. I will get started, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji, please start.
So you can share the screen if you want.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Oh, Hari Bol.
Is it visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Wonderful. Yes, sure. Visible, Prabhu.
Okay. So, Hare Krishna. Even though I'm not qualified, I need your blessings, Prabhuji, to proceed to this talk. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all. So, my talk will be dealing with topics like why we should control our mind and why it is important to control. Is it really possible to control? And at last, how to control the mind. So, everybody knows that in our day-to-day life, controlling the mind is very much important. Without mind control, we will not be able to do our daily activities properly, and definitely will not be able to progress in devotional service also. So is it really important to control our mind? Yes, it's very important, as we all know that. If we don't control our mind, we'll be distracted. As a student, we'll not be able to concentrate on our studies, we'll not be able to sit and study. Even as a professional, we'll not be able to excel in our work, and we'll not be able to do many things. So basically, it will lead to distraction and lack of concentration. It will also lead to restlessness. Restlessness means will not be able to communicate properly, will not be able to do work in an appropriate way, both in materialistic ways and spiritual ways, and will not be able to act wisely also. Any person, in order to take a correct decision in his life, his mind should work in a proper way. He should control his mind to some extent, at least not completely. He should be able to control his mind to some extent so that he will take wise decision in his life. So as we all know that if one does not control mind, he has to suffer in this material world when compared to other people who can control their mind. Say for example, a thief is there. So he always want to rob other properties. Knowing the consequences also, he knows that if I do this act, I'll be sent to jail. But since he's not able to control his mind, he'll be indulging in all sinful activities. And as a result, he has to face the consequences like punishment, going to jail. He will be boycotted by the society. So in order to prevent the suffering, one has to definitely control his mind. And last but not the least, peace of mind. So one who is able to control his mind can have peace of mind to some extent. So basically, these are all materialistic examples. The most important is any person should have spirituality in his life. Without that, his life is waste. So in order to have spirituality, one should be able to control his mind. One should be able to distinguish who am I, what is this material world, and what is the suffering. So to answer all these questions, his mind has to work in a proper way. For that, his mind needs to be controlled. So by giving all these examples, is it really important to control mind? Yes, anyone can simply understand that one has to definitely control his mind. But how extent one has to control his mind, it varies from person to person and situation to situation. So, as Radhanath Swami Prabhu told that you are where your mind is. So one should be very mindful in his thoughts. Suppose if a student is there in his classroom and his mind is wandering elsewhere, definitely will not be able to concentrate on the studies. Similarly, a spiritualistic person is doing some spiritualistic activity, like he is doing chanting or is doing puja. If his mind is elsewhere, then definitely will not be able to achieve the fruits of these devotional activities. And in materialistic way and spiritual way, one has to progress. Presence of mind is very much important. One cannot let his mind deviate here and there when he is doing a serious act. So by this, so now we have understood that definitely we need to control our mind. Without controlling our mind, it's not possible to live a proper life in this material world. Then, so is it possible to control our mind? The next question comes, is it possible to control our mind? Many, even doctors may say, spiritualistic persons may say, even materialistic persons may say that controlling the mind is very much difficult. Then what is the answer to it? coming to the modern science. Basically, modern science depicts that mind controls the various parts of the body. Mind controls your activities, mind controls your movements, mind controls your heart, liver, lungs. So the main workforce in the body is mind. Without mind, this body doesn't exist. So modern science gives a detailed description of physiological basis and anatomical basis that how mind controls various parts of the body and in biochemical ways also. But modern science and scientists, even doctors, fail to give a proper explanation what controls the mind. So from this, we can come to some conclusion that modern science has literally failed to give us a proper guidance to how to control mind. Then what's our next option? So definitely we should go for our Shastras. Then let us see what Shastra says about mind and body and how to control it and what is its relationship. So according to the Katha Upanishad, there was a conversation between Yamaraja and Nachiketa. Yamaraja offered 3 boons to Nachiketa. He was a Brahmin and a great intellectual person. So in third boon, Nachiketa asked, what are the mysteries behind life and death? What happens after death? The Lord Yamaraja has tried to deviate his question in many ways, but Nachiketa was very stern in his question that definitely I want answers to this question. Then Lord Yamaraja explained in a detailed way. In Katha Upanishad, it says, Atmanam ratinam vidhi sariram ratam mevacha buddhim tu sarathim vidhi manapragaram evacha indriyani hayanyahur vishyam sateshu gocharam atmendriya manoyuktam bhoktayahur manishinam. So what this sloka exactly means? It means that if you take the analogy of a chariot driven by horses, so horses are the senses like nose, ears, eyes, genitalia, and the reins are the mind, which control the horses, and the mind is controlled by the buddhi, that is intelligence, and the whole chariot is the body, and the owner of this body is the nothing but soul. And the direction which we are going is the object of senses, that is a field of activity. So any living entity will be suffering in the combination of the senses, mind and intelligence with the soul seated inside. Whether if he takes a wise decision, he'll be happy to some extent. If he takes a wrong decision, definitely he will have to face the consequences and suffer in this material world. So ultimately, the mind is being controlled by the intelligence. So from this description, we can come to some conclusion that, okay, means the senses are subordinate to mind and mind is subordinate to intelligence. Then one may ask one question, then why there are many intellectual persons like doctors, lawyers, engineers, and we have seen many examples in our day-to-day life in newspapers that a particular ministry is there, he has committed a great crime, he has killed and so person, or he has killed his parents. Recently, a few years back, we heard that a Nepal king has murdered his family. So they are all from intellectual group. They are all very intelligent persons. And why do they commit all these sins? And why they are not able to control their mind and senses? Even nowadays, we can see even doctors indulge in alcohol, drinking and smoking, knowing the consequences of those bad habits. Then what happens to their intelligence? So the here question lies that superior to intelligence is the consciousness. So if the intelligence sometimes it may get bewildered. Sometimes it may act wisely, but sometimes our intelligence doesn't direct in a proper way. So the superior to intelligence is a consciousness. So if one is able to control the intelligence, mind and senses to appropriate consciousness, then definitely you will not have to suffer in this material world. So then what Bhagavad Gita says? In Bhagavad Gita 6.34 chapter says that Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadritam tasyaham nigraham manye vayorivashu duskaram. So in this sloka, Lord Krishna clearly explains that how mind is very powerful. It says that mind is restless, turbulent, abstinent, and very strong. How strong it is? It is easy to control the wind than to control the mind. So from this sloka, one may estimate that how difficult to control the mind is. That is the reason even in our sastras also we see that great sages have failed to control their mind and senses. Take an example of Vishwamitra. He was doing a great penance, but at certain point of time, he has to lose, he has become subordinate to his senses. So what to speak of materialistic persons? So the next question arises. So till now we have discussed the importance of mind control and how mind body has been related and how difficult it is to control the mind. Then is it really possible to control our mind? So these questions may arise. Then let us see what the modern science gives the answer when compared to the Shastras. Yeah, so it is nowadays a common practice. So that I have seen many of my colleagues and even other friends also. So they tell every month or every daily alternate day I go to yoga classes. So that really does this help? Nowadays they conduct a lot of yoga classes in the name of spirituality. They tell a lot of asanas, postures, all these things. But taking live examples, even my friends only, initially they were very enthusiastic in joining these courses. But after 2-3 months, they have failed to regularly go to these classes. When I ask them why you're not going, they say that simply no, initially it was helpful. But later on, we have seen that it's not much beneficial. Simply it is a type of act only. So according to Shastras, if one really has to control the mind, he has to perform an Ashtanga Yoga, according to. So Ashtanga Yoga means it's literally impossible in the present day life. One has to go to forest areas, there are special asanas for it, and there is special type of breaths. So until unless you follow this clear-cut instructions, one will not be able to control his mind. So modern science, modern definitions, yoga is actually basically it's a bogus thing. Simply they are making money and they're giving false impression, and we can understand our day-to-day life also. The modern yoga has failed to give us a proper guidance in controlling the mind. So next simple thing is that, so okay, if somebody want to control his mind, we have to do good exercise. So we can also experience that even in medical science also. Of course, exercise helps to control the mind to some extent. We have seen many people who are suffering from depression. We say that, oh, come outside, do some gym, do some running, all these things. So basically all this, when we do exercise, a lot of endorphins release in our body. So basically these hormones will have some impact on the mind to free it and be happy. But it's not the ultimate solution. Why? Because one cannot keep on doing exercises all his life. As a young, when we are energetic, we'll be able to do some exercise. But later on, when we become old, or in some situations when time doesn't permit, so exercise we cannot do whole day. And it's basically a temporizing measure, and it has a very small impact on the mind control. So exercise has also failed to give a proper guidance to the mind control. So next, then what are the next options? So yoga has done, we have done yoga, we have done exercises, so food. So what does food has an impact on the mind control? Yes, food definitely has an impact on the mind control. If you see the background of many crimes, so under what circumstances they have committed the crimes. If we interrogate many thieves, they say that I have done this crime by taking lots of alcohol, lots of non-veg. So by taking all these things, I'll be able to kill some person or thief some property or kidnap some person. So basically the foods, the items which we call tamoguna. So basically, if you take those items, we lose control on our mind. Even an intellectual person also, when he is drunk, he will speak very irresponsibly. He will definitely himself will say, I'm out of my control of mind. So basically, what type of food is definitely helpful to control the mind? To some extent, sattvic food will help us to control the mind, like a pure vegetarian. That is the reason why previously Brahmanas are used to be so intelligent, and they have a lot of control over their mind when compared to other sectors of people. Because the Brahmanas used to take a pure vegetarian, devoid of even alcohol, devoid of onion and garlic. And If one want to control his mind, he has to take a sattvic food, that is food offered to the Lord Krishna. So to some extent, yeah, definitely prasadam food will help to control the mind, but we should be very choosy in what we are eating. Next. So what are the other options we are left with? We have done with modern yoga, we have done with exercise, we have done with food. Now coming to the substance abuse and medicines. If a person is not able to control his mind, and if he's very much in depressive mood and is very much irritable, one may approach to a doctor. So saying that, doctor, I'm not able to control my mind, I'm in depression, I have lost my property, I have divorced my wife, my children are not listening to me. So then definitely the doctor will see and he will give some prescription basically. So every tablet has a side effects for it. When he takes antidepressant medications, he'll become more drowsy. He will not be able to work properly. And due course of time, and these medications also fail to control his mind. And there are other set of people who, instead of approaching doctor, they approach to a substance like alcohol, cocaine, injections. Nowadays, the modern generation, the young generation are more prone to all these things. Whenever they are in depression or whenever they feel very much disturbed, they take unethical medications. So what happens when they take all these medications? We all know that they get addicted to it. They, day by day, they'll get more degraded and they'll be doing in all non-legal things. They lose their health. So all these are side effects of medicines and substance abuse. So in Bhagavad Gita, it clearly says that for one who has conquered the mind is the best friend. But for who has failed to control, the mind is the greatest enemy for him. So till now, all these modern science, yoga, substance, food, exercise, all these have failed to give proper, appropriate guidance to how to control the mind. So let us see what Bhagavad Gita says. So Bhagavad Gita 6.35 chapter, Krishna clearly says that Sri Bhagavan Ivacha Asamsayam Mahabaho Mano Durginam Chalam Abhyase Natu Kaunteya Vairagye Nacha Griyate. So here we can see the clear-cut message given by Lord Krishna that how one has to control his mind. Lord Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and detachment. So here Krishna gives a clear-cut message that if one wants to control his mind, he should practice, and with detachment only he should be able to do that. Now the next question comes, what Lord Krishna meant by practice and what Lord Krishna meant by detachment. So what do you mean by real practice? Practice not means any doing a mundane activity or doing some yoga or doing other activities. Practice means involving our senses, our mind and intelligence in performing devotional activities. So what devotional activities? Basically, chanting the holy name of the Lord, hearing the glories of the Lord, hearing the Sankirtana, hearing the lectures or sayings of the Acharyas. And to whom with you associate? You should associate with pure devotees who always are involved in glorifying the Lord and in various ways and doing all kinds of devotional activities. So by doing these things, basically we will be able to purify our consciousness and be able to make our consciousness from mundane consciousness to godly consciousness, and we will be able to nourish our intelligence. So in our previous analogy, in previous slide, I have clearly told that senses are always subordinate to mind is subordinate to intelligence, and above intelligence is the consciousness. Until unless one is able to make his consciousness godly, he will not be able to control his mind, because we cannot depend on our intelligence. Intelligence can sometimes be bewildered by Maya. So Maya is very much powerful. So until unless we take the shelter of Lord Krishna, Lord Radharani, will not be able to control our mind. So this is how what exactly practice means. So this word practice has been misinterpreted by the modern so-called teachers. What they call it as practice modern yoga, practice this, practice that. But all those things are temporary and they will not help in controlling our mind. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, it says that Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andakara Yahan Krishna Tahanahi Mayara Adhikara. What it says? It clearly says that Krishna is like sun and Maya is like darkness. Where Krishna is there, there is no question of Maya. Because if you want to control our mind, our intelligence should always be perfect. But in this modern world, Maya is so powerful that it can take away your intelligence. So that is the reason why we see all these intellectual persons. Sometimes, even though we are the very learned persons, they commit a lot of mistakes. So we have done with practice. Now coming to detachment. So what do you mean by detachment? So Maharaj Amritsar is the greatest example for us. He was a king and he almost ruled the entire world. But he was very much careful in engaging in all his senses in devotional service in various ways. He was seeing always with eyes, he was seeing the beauties of the Lord Radha and Krishna. With hands and mouth, he was doing puja, and he was with mouth, he was glorifying Lord Krishna. And with ears, he was hearing the stories of Lord Krishna. And with mouth, he was tasting the prasadam. And with legs, he was always basically was involving all his senses in devotional activities. You know, when we involve all his senses in devotional activities, definitely our mind, intelligence will be guided in a proper way, and consciousness will always be Krishna consciousness. That is what the message is. That if we make our consciousness Krishna consciousness, then automatically there is no need of separate endeavor for it. Automatically all will be streamlined. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, 15th sloka says that Vishaya vinivartante niharasya dehina rasavrajyam raso pasya param dritva nivartate. Aspirants may restrain the senses from objects of enjoyment, but the taste for the sense objects remains. However, even this taste ceases for those who realize the Supreme. It is very much important. So nowadays, if you see Mayavadi philosophy, what they say that even Shankaracharya philosophy also, what they say that means you boycott this material world. So they say that everything is false. This body is false, mind is false, your relatives are false. Basically, everything is false. So basically, you boycott it and go to a nirvana state. So frankly speaking, it is very much difficult to do. See, our mind and body, our senses, it is so tuned that if you want to lose something, you have to replace it with another thing. Suppose if I daily watch movie, if I daily go to the outside, then if I want to prevent that watching movie, then my eyes want to replace it with something which is more happier than it. So until unless we replace that happiness, it is very difficult to control our mind. We have seen many examples. People who want to merge in the God, basically initially they boycott these worldly activities, but later on they may go to Himalayas and do tapasya, all those things. But at a certain point of time, they get frustrated. They don't know what to do. Again, they come back to the material world and they start doing pious activities, doing some benefit, doing some charity work, all those things. So basically, until unless one is able to replace this sense of enjoyment, will not be able to control the mind. What it means exactly means that we should be able to replace our sense enjoyment with God enjoyment. Basically, we should be able to, instead of watching movie, we should be able to see the glories of the deities, Lord Krishna deities. Instead of eating, nobody can control the tongue. In our whole body, tongue is the most strongest sense, and definitely it is very important to control the tongue. Usually, as when the weekend comes, we go outside, eat in hotels and restaurants. So instead of eating outside, we should eat a tasty prasadam that is offered to the Krishna. Similarly, instead of hearing, everybody wants to hear the music. Everybody wants to hear the R. Rahman music, all those things. Instead of hearing worldly music, we should hear the music sung by great acharyas. So everybody wants to use their intelligence. Everybody wants to interpret many things. So instead of interpreting the political science, instead of interpreting Lord Modi's activities, we should interpret the books written by acharyas. So instead of associating with a worldly person, we should associate with pure devotees. So basically, by doing this, we are not boycotting the sensely activities instead of we are replacing with godly activities. So that is very much important. So it is clearly written that we should hammer every thought in our mind thinking of how to serve Krishna. So my conclusion talk, basically I'm concluding the talk. So one, you should use their intelligence to properly utilize in controlling the senses and mind. And the only best solution for it is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means one should practice in such a way, a devotional service, that one should be inspired and he should be able to do more and more daily. It is not that it's like a ritualistic thing, something we are getting up early in the morning, we are doing some japa, we are doing jam puja, and again going back to work. It is not the way. As Srila Rupa Goswami told, one should be enthusiastic, and day by day one should be feeling more happy, and then only we can progress in devotional service, and we can ultimately achieve what is known as pure love, that is pure bhakti. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Your inputs, please. Dandat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Fantastic, Prabhu. So 3 Haribols all of us can say to Prabhuji for his wonderful talk and wonderful preparation that he did, followed by questions. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
So thank you, Prabhuji. This was amazing talk as well as presentation that you did. Very inspiring. And I know how much effort you would have put, though you are very busy preparing all this. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So I have one.
It's your blessings, Prabhuji. It's your blessings and association which has inspired me. So the credit goes to you, not to me.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
One question I have, Prabhu, with respect to the slide that you shown about the Kathopanishad, the chariot slide that you showed. No? So in that you are talking about the ground, wherein if you can show that, then that will become easy. Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
You can share that screen. Yeah, the chariot one. I think in the
Yes, Prabhu. 1 second, Prabhu. It's stuck actually.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
So, Prabhuji, here, 2 things. First, what is this object of senses, field of activity? Can you a little bit elaborate on that first? And then I have another follow-up question. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
Sure. Basically means the object of senses means taking a materialistic example. Suppose if I want to watch a movie. So basically what I'll be doing, so with my intelligence, so I will be planning, okay, today I'll be free at around 6:30 like that. I'll book some first or second show through online. And according my mind will be devising some way how to sort it out. And slowly I'll go to movie theater. Basically the object of senses means, so movie theater is my object to satisfy my senses. So my field of activity will be like I'll be going by car or going by some vehicle like that. That's what my understanding, Prabhuji, what I thought. So you can give some inputs if I'm something wrong.
So, yes, Prabhu. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita talks about Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So can you check on that, Prabhu? How is that related and how we can relate the Kshetra and Kshetrajna to this? Because field of activity and object of senses. So this some way we can relate to the Kshetra and Kshetrajna part of the Bhagavad Gita discussion. So yeah, Ramesh Prabhu, the 13th chapter. Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Frankly speaking, I also having this doubt exactly what it meant. So you can explain this. I was having this doubt when I was preparing the slides.
No problem, no problem. So if you can add that also and just check on what is Krishna trying to elaborate on that, that would be nice. That could be one of the things that you can do at later point of time. And Prabhu, one other thing. So in this chariot, this analogy, the soul, what is the role of the soul? like you said consciousness is what is the higher than intelligence, and that is what you need to try and purify. So where is the soul coming in? What is the role of the soul?
So basically, soul is the owner of this means body, Prabhuji. So I think basically consciousness is pervaded whole of the soul. What I guess, Prabhuji. So this point is also I need more clarification.
Yes, Prabhu. Because the role of the soul is very important. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita again, Krishna talks about the doer, knower, doer. So this kind of things, analogies have been talked about doers. So there are different types of doers, and there is one sanctioner also. So in this context, where does the super soul come? Because if you see our what we are right now, we are soul and super soul. So where is the super soul in this arena what we are talking about? There is no mention of super soul. Soul is there, and that completeness also we can bring. Whatever you said is good enough, but in addition to that, if you can get that, then that will be nice.
Sure, Prabhu, definitely.
The role of the soul and that part. Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
So thank you, Prabhu. Any other devotee has any questions, please go ahead. I think Ramesh Prabhu, you had some questions, right?
No, probably I joined bit late. Only thing, okay, I think chapter 13 initially tells everything about what was in Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is the one who has a knowledge of the Kshetra. Kshetra is the field. The Kshetrajna is one who has knowledge. So the soul has the knowledge of the Kshetra body, senses. Body is made of senses. So it has the knowledge and it exploits the senses, and it develops the false ego that I am this body, I am this nose, I am this, like that. Because it is the mind is attached in a wrong direction. Perspective. It's all a perspective game. Perspective changes the path.
Do you have any questions, Prabhu?
No, Prabhu.
Thank you. And any other devotee? Chetan Singh Thakur Prabhu, Nutan Mataji, Yashoda Mataji, Megha Shukla Mataji. Any doubts, any questions that you have? So one other question, Prabhu, just to follow up on that. So the Ashtanga Yoga process you mentioned, it is an authentic process that we have. So it is difficult, but so what are the main drawbacks in the Ashtanga Yoga process? You mentioned a little bit, yes. And currently what they are doing, the modern yoga, they are taking up only the asana part of it. Out of the 8 limbs, they are only taking the one part, which is asana. So will it not give any benefit at all? Because yogasanas, when you do, it gives you a lot of benefit, right? Are we not supposed to do? Are we just going to be dependent on just doing the chanting alone? Because body fitness is also required. If asana gives you, then why take it anything wrong or anything lower? That's my question. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, basically, when these asanas may help in body fitness, but overall, if you think, it doesn't help in mind control much. Because I don't know much about it. I asked some of my friends. So they when they keep on doing asanas, they think that my mind will be wandering here and there. So what I experience, what they say is that I have gone to some yoga classes. They tell good asanas, like breathing, controlling our breathing, like being in one posture. So it may help to some extent, but after like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, my mind keep on pondering other things like what to plan whole day. So what to do with this patient, what to do with that thing, how will we doing this business, all these things. So what you told that asana is definitely from health point of view, it is useful, Prabhuji. And to some extent, even in mind control also, it is might like 5 to 10% might be useful. but it's not like 100% foolproof that if I do that asana, I'll able to completely control the mind. So that's what my
Okay.
knowledge, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody would like to have any follow-up question on this aspect of yoga, whatever we are doing, like what generally people do, and what's the benefit, and how is that as devotees you can also cultivate this habit of doing some yogasanas? What do you think?
I have a doubt,
Go
Prabhuji,
ahead.
in this direction. I've been thinking for a couple of days,
Yeah.
like with reference to Mahamantra only. Like we are doing this. Apologies if I'm talking wrongly or I'm hurting anything, but I'm just trying to clear my mind here. Like we have Omkar. Oh, so it has some effect. Okay, it settles down the mind. Or there is a Brahmi mantra. Mm,
Brahmari.
right, right, ma'am. It cools down your mind, completely settles it. So like that, we have this Harinama mantra. So how can I not compare, but in that frequency, what frequency, like Om has a frequency and Brahmari has a frequency. So then how do we really chant exactly so that it has a, because we are saying it's the best mantra in the Kali Yuga. So how do I exactly uh, use the vibrations? That's what I like Om, I'm using Om or Brahmari to settle my mind, like that. Or is it all just all about putting my mind on Krishna? How does it work? How does it exactly work? Does it have vibration? It should have vibrations. So how do I do it? I'm just chanting as I heard for the first time on the audio. How I heard it, my mind got used to it, and that's why I'm chanting. So I want to know exactly how. That's my question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Like the Omkar is there, Brahmari is there, how do I empower myself with Harinam, Mahamantra? Right now
Can I,
I'm
Prabhuji?
I'm attaching. Right now I'm doing it only by as a attachment. Like okay, I'm thinking of Krishna in mind, and then through mind. That's how the Shastras also seem to be telling that through mind. So, is there any frequency at which I need to go? Speed with it, I have to go. How I have to, at which do I tell it through nostrils? Like I bring it from the Nabhi. From Nabhi, I push it slowly under the head. So, is there a specific mechanism in this one Mahamantra?
Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu, you understood the question, right?
Yes, I understood the question. What Prabhuji is basically telling is that, so when we do Omkara, there is one specific description like, so you should have a certain asana, you should take mantra and leave the air from the nostrils. That was Prabhuji is telling. Similarly, for Hare Krishna Mantra, is there a specific description in the Shastra that you should chant in such a way or in this way like that? That is what I think Prabhuji is asking. That is what Ramesh Prabhu, that is what your question is?
Yes, yes, yes. So like in Omkar, we do it from the Nabhi,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
for Brahmari, I put it all in my head as a dome, and then let the sound reverberate in my dome, like that. So similar.
So according to me, Prabhuji, with limited knowledge, what I say that even in Hare Krishna, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra also, so what Acharya's advice is that do in a particular time. Means Hare Krishna Mahamantra can be chanted at any point of time. There is no restrictions for it. If you want to get the maximum benefit of the mantra, so there are certain rules and regulations like that. Chant in the early mornings, chant in association of devotees, as we all know that you also know, I think, Prabhuji. So when we are chanting, just keep your back straight in a proper sitting position. And when we are chanting, chant slowly, hear every mantra. And so all these are some descriptions in order to derive the maximum benefit while chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But as far of knowledge, I don't know that while chanting, we should take care in certain pattern and live in certain pattern. That part I don't know, Prabhuji. I think Krishna Swami Prabhuji can give a better answer for this.
Actually, our acharyas and our senior Vaishnavas have said that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra can be taken in whatever fashion. The only thing is that you should pronounce it properly and hear it properly. These are the two primary requirements. Rest of the things are up to you. How do you do it? In what way you do it? Breathing and all these things are external things. So you don't have to really bother. And actually, they made it so simple that everybody, a small boy of 1 year age or 6 months, can do till a person with 80 years. So it is accessible to everyone. So in that sense also it is very simple. The process is very simple. So you can definitely follow. But addressing the question what Ramesh Prabhu was mentioning, this Omkara. See, Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita that I am that Omkara. So the best of all, in the sounds I am Omkara. On the mountains I am the Mehara mountain. So he gives all these examples, says that the best what you see outside is me. I am there. He's there everywhere. But in the best of these things, I am there. That is me, he is saying. Omkara is Krishna only in one way. But now, yeah, as we mentioned, every yuga has got a yuga dharma, and we are following a particular process given by our acharyas. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came and inaugurated the Sankirtan movement, asked us to follow this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What happens is that we, our false ego in one way comes in and says that, why should I follow this process given by this acharya? So this is also mentioned in this one, right? Let me also do this. So this kind of a distraction that mind is asking, and it is dictating because you do not have control over your mind and you do not want to follow the parampara and the process laid down by our acharyas. Don't have faith on that. Our mind is playing this game. So there is nothing wrong when you wanted to do some asanas and make your body fit, but understand that for spiritual progress, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is good enough. And if you really practice that, that will really help you in reaching your ultimate goal, which is Golokadham. So, and in the process of how we take this Om in our yogasanas, they call it as this Om has got three things in it. One is Akara, Ukara, and Makara. So we have to take it that way. Akara means the way we should take to purify our breathing and our health also. Om will help. Akara means, I'll just do that. I don't know whether others are interested. Akara means, sorry. This is Om. O will come. O will come. After that, Ukara. Then Makara. So Akara, Ukara, Makara. These three things combined is Om. So when you do this, what will happen is that this vibration, whatever is generated within, can also bring in good health for you. So that, see, ultimately modern science, physics also says that everything is vibration. So that's what our Vedas also in one way says. Everything, the entire universe was created from where? It was from a particular thought, and that thought has given rise to a what is sound, and that sound has created this entire thing. The first thing that was created is the sound, and they have done extensive research and found out that in the universe outside also there is sound, and that sound is the Omkara sound. So because that is what has created this entire universe. I don't know how much it makes sense to discuss this, but the last thing, you can definitely take the help of yogasanas, because one of the things that is neglected in our ISKCON community, to be very frank, is that we are not taking care of this health factor is neglected. We are, most of the time we are sedentary kind of lifestyle is there, and our healths are not at all in good shape. And if you can take up to do certain exercises, preferably yogasanas or Surya Namaskaras, and expose yourself to the nature, so these things will really help us. Now if you see Srila Prabhupada had a strict routine or a habit, how he used to take care of his health. He used to get nice massage every day, oil massage, and he used to be in the sun, and he used to go for walk daily, whether it is chill, cold there, raining, anything, he used to go for walk. And so all these things will say that you need to also take care of your health. Don't neglect that part. So yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry, I have taken a lot of time to bring my viewpoints on what Ramesh Prabhu has. Yeah, any other doubts, anything anybody wanted to share or ask Lakshmi Narayana Prabhu?
I had another question generally. Anybody could answer. I want to really understand how we will become transcendental. We keep coming to this term transcendental. So how do we realize transcendental? How do we practice it? That's my question, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So your question, Prabhuji, you are saying that what is transcendental and how do we go to that state called transcendental state? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, probably that Maharshi Mahesh, transcendental yoga, transcendental meditation, maybe that is triggering. Okay, go ahead, Lakshmi Narayana Prabhu.
You can take, Prabhu, you can answer it.
No, see the transcendental, our ultimate goal is not to get some siddhis or some transcendental state for our material enjoyment or for our enjoyment. Why I need, if at all I wanted to go and attain the transcendental state, let me go to the Golok Dham and serve Krishna. So that's my only desire. All these things is to fool people and divert you from your ultimate goal to go to Krishna. Then why should I do this? So yes, Prabhu, Ramesh Prabhu, what I feel is that this transcendental, this and that is a distraction for us. Our goal is very clear. I don't want to become a transcendentalist or this list or that list. I wanted to become a devotee of Krishna and serve Krishna. That's our purpose. So all other things is a distraction for us, right? Is that what, or do you have any other question, Ramesh Prabhu? Superb questions you are asking.
You can add a little bit.
Yeah. You are.
So what you said, right? Because all experiments has been done by great acharyas. So everything is ready for us. It's like hot cake. Simply we have to follow their footsteps and achieve the benefit. Basically, nowadays the lifespan is very much limited. We are suffering from diseases. We don't know what will happen the next day. So we cannot keep on experimenting this thing, and everything. So we should take the benefit of great acharyas and follow the best path, which will directly take away to Krishna. That's what, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. As Lakshmi Narayana Prabhu rightly mentioned, Srila Prabhupada said that I am assuring you that you will go to Golokadam. What you need to do is that do your 16 rounds of chanting daily and follow 4 regulative principles. And when you do this with utmost faith, I am telling you that's what Srila Prabhupada said, you will go to Golokadam. Follow these 4 regulative principles and do 16 rounds of chanting every day. And so that's all you need, and definitely you'll go back to Golokadam. So that's it. Yes, Mataji, Megha Shukla Mataji has a question. Lakshmi Narayan.
No, I don't have any question. I just want to add on. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is transcendental. So we are chanting the transcendental mantra.
Prabhuji was saying, I don't know in what context Ramesh Prabhu has got this transcendental part. But again, spiritual, transcendental, all is one and the same for us. Ultimately, our goal is that we wanted to serve Krishna, we wanted to become a pure devotee of Krishna, we wanted to reach the lotus feet of Krishna. That's all. And you name it as transcendental, this list, that list, doesn't matter for us. This is what the names vary. Yes, Prabhuji.
My perspective of transcendental is everywhere in Bhagavad Gita it is transcendental, and it says if we raise above, so we are made of this three gunas and the senses, hence attached to our mind, and the fire, water, everything. So that's the map of it. That is all at the material level. So transcendental, as I understand, is you rise above those. all that is, then you go into the transcendental level. So but that is there in the theory, but yeah, how do we do it? That's of course you already all have been told, like you have to do 16 rounds of the japa. I think there's no better purifier and transcendental than Namasmara. Somehow it came to my mind, that question. Hare Krishna.
So thank you, Prabhu, Ramesh Prabhu. Wonderfully, you have brought in some important, very relevant queries. So as Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu in one of his slides mentioned about, wherever Krishna is there, there is no darkness. So what we need to do is that get attached to Krishna and do whatever for Krishna's sake, then darkness will go. So that is what we need to find out and put our endeavors in. Yes, Prabhu. Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu, you can conclude or ask any other questions if anybody has.
Nothing, Prabhuji. Ultimately, so we should be very careful in utilizing our time in Krishna consciousness. So if you are in Krishna consciousness, everything will be in online. Our senses, mind, body, intelligence, everything. And what you said is exactly right. We should keep our body healthy. Until unless we are healthy, we will not be able to do our devotional service. So all these things will to some extent, like exercise very much. As a doctors, we also tell, even if you don't follow, we tell to do exercise daily 1 hour to keep the body healthy and fit. So these things are very much important. Even a small incident was that when Prabhupada was sick in Western world, so one doctor came actually. So he has seen Prabhupada and he went. And when he was leaving the home, he was in another room. The disciple asked, what happened to Srila Prabhupada? He told, no, the Acharya is too much into spiritual things. He's not taking care of his body. He has to do some exercise. So that's what I heard from other devotees. From that day onwards, Srila Prabhupada made a routine practice that every morning I'll go for a morning walk. So we have many videos of morning walk of Srila Prabhupada. So one has to be very careful to keep his body always fit. That's it, Prabhu.
Fantastic, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Any other last, any queries or any comments, anybody from any of you? Okay. So thank you very much, Prabhu, Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu. This was one of the best presentations and things that we have been able to experience. So sorry, a lot of disturbance. So thank you very much, Prabhu, once again. And one other thing I wanted to ask and request is that we have few other topics. First of all, let me acknowledge one thing. This topic, mind control, I was thinking that how do we present? And after listening to and seeing the presentation of Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu, we have got a lot of clues now how we can prepare any other topic. and the way he has come so systematically from basics, he has come, and the way he has presented. So I'll share this video to all of you so we can go through it, the logical way he has brought, and how practically how we can implement, and the way he is concluded. So that's really good. And the way he has quoted the Shastras, not just from Bhagavad Gita, from Chaitanya Charitamrita and other scriptures, that's really fantastic. Because we should always do our litmus test, what our Acharya said, what is there in the scriptures. That's the takeaway for me. That I know you might also have some takeaways. So the next week topics, if or subsequent weeks, whatever you wanted to pick up, I was thinking that these topics can be picked up. There are simple topics like truthfulness, compassion, forgiveness, determination, mind control, which we did now, discipline, goal of life, or patriotism. I'm just giving you some examples. So would anybody like to take up some topics and work on it and read Bhagavad Gita with that eyes now and apply it, see how you can apply it and make some small changes in our life and others' life by giving your presentation? So Nutan Mataji, Chetan Singh Thakur Prabhu, Ramesh Prabhu, Yashoda Mataji, last time she has given one wonderful topic on truthfulness. Mataji, Yashoda Mataji, you gave it on truthfulness, right? Is it not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
That was wonderful topic. She also did great job. Megha Shukla Mataji. So what is that you wanted to take up? So there is one: compassion, forgiveness, determination. Mind control is over now. Discipline. So can somebody take, let's take it one by one. Can somebody take the compassion part, forgiveness part, determination part? Anybody? Chetan Singh Thakur Prabhu, Megha Shukla Mataji, Nutan Mataji, Ramesh Prabhu. 4 people are there, 4 topics you tell. Maybe you will speak for 5 minutes. Doesn't matter. Your participation, and that is more important. Whether you are making a presentation or not, doesn't matter. Just participate. What do you think?
I'm a doubting.
So you take up something like that, whichever.
I doubt myself, so that's the problem. It's a negative thing in me.
Matter, Prabhu. We are all learning. We are all having our own this thing. Discipline. You wanted to take up discipline or patriotism?
Patriotism is, I don't know, patriotism comes in. Yeah, it comes, but it is a very small part of.
No, what
it's a kind of very angled compassion, according to
Prabhuji,
angled compassion.
pick up the topic, whichever you want.
Okay, either discipline or compassion.
Okay, so take up one, whichever you want.
Because other may be doing better than me, that's my doubt.
Prabhuji?
Others may be doing better than me, so I may be spoiling it.
So stop this. They are better, I am better. We are all come here to just share our experiences, right? What is there? So each one is coming with his own set of whatever Krishna has given us, right? So
I'll pick compassion, I think, Prabhuji.
okay.
But please guide me, because I am.
Yes, Prabhu. We are all there to learn from each other. So nothing like that. So compassion you have taken, Prabhu. Chetan Singh Thakur Prabhu, आप भी कुछ लीजिए. And Chetan Singh Thakur Prabhu is inspiring so many youngsters, and he's doing great job. Nutan Mataji, which topic you want to take? Forgiveness is there. There is determination is there. Discipline is there. Nutan Mataji?
Prabhuji, actually, I'm very weak at Shastras. I mean, I have not given them a reading, and still I'm in my baby steps related to Bhagavad Gita and Shastras.
Pick up the topic and prepare the way you prepare for your, your classes, for your chemistry classes, like that. Just pick up the topic, what it is.
Prabhuji, those are textbooks. These are sacred texts. which I have never read earlier. So there is a difference, Prabhuji.
Make an attempt by doing Google search. What is it?
Okay.
And we are there to help you. So just make an attempt. So these are all
Okay.
very mundane topics or very familiar topics, like what is discipline, mind control, forgiveness, compassion, all this. Which one you want to take? Forgiveness?
Anyone, Prabhuji. All those characteristics are lovely. Anyone is fine.
Take a forgiveness, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu.
Forgiveness. So prepare, like what is forgiveness and what does our Shastra talk about forgiveness? Take from Bhagavad Gita more initially and then go into other aspects. So see what everything is emanating from Bhagavad Gita only. So just see how forgiveness can be taken from Bhagavad Gita. Slowly other scriptures, if at
I
all.
touch only Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji. Other books I do not know much in detail.
Take
I've
internet
seen
help.
this book and I have that one.
Yeah,
So maybe first I'll try with that one.
Yeah, take internet help. See, when you're reading letters, you can use internet also, Google. Okay, Mataji, thank you so much. It's up to you how you prepare. You're a professor. We don't
Okay.
have.
If nobody is picking patriotism, then maybe I'll pick it, and they can take compassion.
You are taking compassion, no, Prabhu, or changed your mind?
Right. No, I have not changed mine. But if somebody is interested in, nobody is picking
It's done,
patriotism.
Prabhu. It's given to you.
Okay.
No
Okay.
looking back.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you don't have to have compassion for that to give it to somebody. Okay. So Chetan Singh Thakur, Prabhu, I presume you are there.
Yes, Prabhu, I am there, Prabhu.
Which
Any topic, Prabhu. Any topic, Prabhu. If Mataji, any topic you can give.
determination, Prabhu.
I'll prepare it for myself.
Determination.
If others are not, नहीं प्रभु जी पहले सबको चांस दीजिए प्रभु बाद में जो टॉपिक है मैं वो क्लियर
सबका
करने
हो
की
गया
कोशिश
प्रभु,
करूँ
सबका हो गया, आपका ही है
आप जो बोले
डिटर्मिनेशन, दृढ़
ओके
संकल्प,
प्रभु आप
दृढ़ संकल्प.
यस प्रभु
You are a symbol for that.
ओके प्रभु
Okay, Prabhu. So Megha Shukla Mataji wanted to message me separately. The topic she will select, it seems. And Yashoda Mataji wanted to pick up one more topic.
Yes, Prabhu, if something is remaining, what is remaining now?
What is remaining? Discipline is remaining. Discipline nobody has taken, right? Discipline.
Discipline. Discipline. Okay, I'll try, Prabhu.
Yeah. So discipline so you know that if you discipline, that's very important in our the entire our shastras and sadhana, whatever we are doing is to discipline ourselves. Okay, so I think we are done. I'll just put it in our group that all of you, whatever you have taken, and Megha Shukla Mataji, she will select one topic and she will also be there. And whosoever is ready, they can do the next week. So that is what Preeti Mataji is calling. I'll just see. Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, we are in the meeting. Just concluding. Okay, Mataji. I'll talk to you, Mataji. I'm just concluding this meeting now. Hare Krishna. Okay, so Mataji was struck in some hospital, this thing. Okay, so thank you so much once again, Lakshmi Narayana Prabhu, Koti Dandavat Pranam, for wonderfully leading us and inspiring us. This is one of the great sessions that we had. So you just made us give a feel that how we should make presentations. And all these pictures, all this presentation, you did it yourself, Prabhu?
Simple, Prabhuji. If you Google it, what I do is that I take a word, I just go to images. If I go to images, I'll get a number of images based on that word.
Wow.
If you take a discipline, discipline in spiritual means you'll get a number of images. Discipline in Krishna consciousness. If you go to images, we'll get a number of images. I'll just copy paste.
That that is the image for that wherever your mind, what is that, Prabhu? Wherever you are, wherever your mind is, you are there. So that picture
Ah,
also
yes, yes.
liked with the background with monkeys. And Radhanath Swami Maharaj so told that. Oh, okay.
No, actually, the same thing I did. Just mind control in ISKCON, I typed it. So I got n number of images. Thousands of images are there. So I thought this image was very interesting. In that it was said by Dr.
Very
Radhanath
nice.
Swami.
So it,
Similarly, Prabhuji, if you type compassion in ISKCON means there are many sites, Vani quotes, ISKCON desire tree. So based on that word, we'll get n number of quotes, n number of references.
okay.
So Google has made our life easy.
You have that aesthetic sense also. The presentation, the look and feel, amazing. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all of you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. I did not look like from Google at all. It looked like very creatively you have created it. It did not look like Google at all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Bol. Hare Bol.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.